the thing that bother me a lot is the education in Africa, the poor education in Africa. Here in Africa, our education system is a little a, a former education. This education should be changed, the system of education. So when I see the way we study here in Africa, I think that we are missing a lot of things. When we take a look at the advancement of the world today, and we are all aware that the world today is speedily advancing. But in Africa, I think that we don't change our educational system. It is every day the same. Every day, since the day or the system of education is had never changed. It's always the same. For nowadays, what we are seeing, the evolution of the technology and many things in our society, but every day the educational system is the same. So this bothered me a lot. And I want our authority, our governor, our leaders to change the way we study here in Africa. I'm talking about Ivory Coast, but I know that this problem is uh, for the continent, for all the Africa. So what bothered me a lot, I'm not gonna monopolize the word, but I'm gonna be short. What I want to say is that Africa, the our educational system is a little uh, ancient. We need to change this, facing the evolution of the world. So this is what I had to say. Am I clear?
Yes, you
Hello.
are.
Yeah,
But
sure. You are okay.
yeah,
Okay. So I'm done.
Can I help?
if I sorry. Mm.
This is Kojo. Can I help?
I think that I'm
Can I?
done. Yes. Okay, no problem.
Hi. Okay, so Ezekiel, I
All
think I
right. Do
heard
something.
some. Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead. Who are we speaking to? Hi.
What Ezekiel said, I think is
Mm.
really interesting. We need to change our educational system. Let me come, for example, like we take my country, Togo. If you consider the way we are teaching children, we are teaching children today, especially our local languages, we are forgetting them and we are embracing other languages. It's not bad. For me, it's not bad. But when we come home, children are unable to speak in their mother tongue, which is something that's always bothered me because you realize that we are losing our heritages, our privilege, things that can describe, that can identify us as Africans. So we are losing all these things for the mercy of this West or white country, civilization. It's not bad for me, but we also need to implement all this system also in our educational system. The second point is love. There is this kind of disunion in Africa. We don't love each other. We always, bite, discriminate based on, tribe or this perspective we do have. So this is also one point we must correct. When I come back also, because this point is very important for me. In my country here, we have the South, we have the North. So there is this, fight between the North and the South. Some people, even to get to some post, you must be or you must be coming from the north before getting that post. Same for the Southerners, you must be coming from the south before getting certain posts. So this is something that I think we must fight against, correct, stop. Now, let us so go quickly to Nigeria. For this election days, something happened that quietly amazed me. People were willing to vote for Peter Obi, which is Igbo man, an Igbo man, people really, all the youths and the citizens, I realized some things on internet, even some friends I interacted with. People really like this guy, this man, because he's very competent. He's very, that is fit for the job. But something happened because of the whole system they have been conducing or they have been implementing using. And they brought this man, which is Tinubu. I don't say people don't vote for him. Some people do. Even in his speech, he said that I know many of you don't vote for me. So how come you get to that post? This is the tribalism we are talking about. Because some people think that, yeah, this is the people that need to occupy the post, and these people don't need it because they are saying that Igbo, no, it's not possible. So we need to change that mindset in Africa to allow love goals so that we can a continent where we're in peace, so that we can change things that we are facing as the challenges each day. I think this is a little bit what I need to say for now, because I know many people will be willing to say more. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And for all of us that are listening, you can offer comments of support through the chat. You have the chat is available. Whoever's talking, definitely make sure that you check the chat for comments. We're looking for support. We're looking for answers. We're looking for even just, as I said, you can even send an emoji, hug, smile, just to let them know that you've got their back. And so whoever wants to take the floor, you can go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Joy.
So if I understand the question you asked, you were asking what was the problem we are facing based on the challenges we are facing personally in our personal life or family life that is posing a problem for us to participate in the yearly program. But I think the answers that we've been discussing has to do with Africa and the challenges in Africa. I think the question you asked was based on personal or family life, right?
Well, it can be either. So I gave various examples. I was trying to be very broad with my example. Probably I shouldn't have mentioned maybe the email thing because I'm talking based on, so I'm looking for any problem. Some people might not have personal problems that are hindering, their progress in any way. Some people might not want to talk about it, but they want to talk about, a problem in general that's happening in the country. So it can take any form you want. This can be just a session just for us to support each other, some healing, and just a way for you to just let your frustrations out. It's something that happens on site. So yeah, if you want to take the floor, since you've already opened up, you can go ahead.
Hi. Good afternoon, Najwa.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, this is Eva.
Hi, Eva. You have the floor. How are you?
Yes, I'm well. I hope you are too.
I am. Thank you.
Great. So I want to talk about an issue that is pertinent in Ghana. I don't know if my colleagues from the other African countries would say it resonates with them as well. So it has to do with this pull him down syndrome, as we call in Ghana, PhD, where someone is
down syndrome.
Yeah, pull him down syndrome, where someone is progressing in a certain area or in a certain regard, and then you have people within your close circle, people within your family, people within your professional life who are supposed to actually give you that support to move on and to even better whatever it is you are doing. But you have these same people, trying to pull you down, trying to discourage you. You have these same people who are supposed to have your back. These same people who are supposed to be your encouragers, your motivators, are the same ones who would even want to go behind the scenes and then try to spoil things for you. And then when it even comes to the celebrity lifestyle, we see it a lot, where you can have a typical Ghanaian artist, typical Ghanaian musician who is doing so well in other countries, yet in Ghana, the person feels he or she is not being projected. In our personal spaces too, we have that. Sometimes it can even be your workplace, where you are doing so well professionally, where you are getting all sorts of appointments and promotions, and then your close circle, your close-knitted friends are the same people who try to bring you down. Personally, I've experienced something like that recently, if I have to go personal. And then I think that it is something that generally a lot of people too face. So I think it's one of our biggest problems as Africans, because when it happens that way, sometimes you even get international opportunities and you have people finding ways of, canceling that opportunity for you. And it goes a very long way to affect us psychologically, mentally, and in other areas as well. So I think that is something that we need to work on individually in our own small spaces so that we don't tend to pull others down when they are making it big. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Very good point. So far, guys, you guys have given some good contributions. Do we have a next person?
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. I want to talk basically some issues affecting Nigeria. As a human rights defender, I've experienced so many things even before I joined human rights, especially from our first men, in particular, police officers. In Nigeria today, especially the youth, has fallen a victim of so much human rights violations. For example, in Nigeria today, policemen, or let me say some of policemen, normally sees youth that has cars or that are doing well as a crime to be a youth that has money or youth that are feding well. You will see a policeman stop youth by the side of the road and extort their money through POS charging, and so many ways that Nigerian youth has become a victim of human rights violations. It is disturbing me. Like, it's part of my mission to see for that. In Nigeria today, if you don't have money, if you don't have fames, you cannot defend your rights. As a citizen, if you don't have money, nobody is ready to listen to you. Even when you report that your right has been violated, nobody.
Yeah.
So it's bothering me too much personally. Thank you very much.
Madam.
Yes, go ahead. So I think we're having a little bit of a technical issue there, but thank you for that submission. All of these are current, very valid and very current issues that I'm sure a lot of people across the different countries can relate to. And so, while we're listening to these accounts, if you have a solution, if you have feedback or anything, definitely use the chat for that. Anyone else want to take the floor?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Dachumo Wise, good luck, and I'm from Ghana. And first of all, I'd like to commend the organizers for this great program, and I'm really grateful to be a part. Since I've learned a lot. So just to reiterate one of the issues that was stated early on, but I will have to frame it this way, which is about our identity as Africans. I am just a young person, but I feel we as Africans, we are losing our identity, I mean our culture. And is it a question that we shouldn't advance with modern advancements, or we can still hold on to our cultural system and still advance? This is a question that I want everybody to think about. Personally, I feel we have lost our identity, and I'll be grateful if we can be motivated to actually bring back our identity so that we can have, let's say, an identity to us separate from other worlds. Yes, we are to respect others' identity, but if we don't know our identity, how then can we be able to appreciate other people's identity and also be able to know what their identity is? So that is basically my question, and what I want everybody to put in mind, so that moving forward, we can do anything small in our way to bring back that identity of Africa. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Go ahead. You have the floor. If you have feedback for the last speaker, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello?
We can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can
Go
hear you, sir.
ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm Shiko Brahma from Sierra Leone. There is always one thing that is always affecting me in Sierra Leone, which I have experience about. I will call it corruption in some way. I will class it so. It's with regards to these political affiliations. You see, sometimes you can see they have a scholarship for students that are qualified to apply for those scholarships. There are some opportunities that comes, but because of political affiliations, you can see that majority of those who are even qualified, more qualified, are left behind. You see, so I have experienced this it's over 4 years now from the time I enrolled into the university. I've been applying for so many scholarships. We are in you can say that even the people you are competing with, they even themselves can really have respect for you. They can prove that yes, you will be one of the winner of the scholarship or the opportunity. But at the end of the day, you just see the other aspect of it. So you see, this really burning issue in Sierra Leone. So this is all about political settlement, who know you. So this really not really easy with us here. You see, I have experienced this over the years. Seriously, it's not really getting it's really getting hard with us here. Since you are not connected either politically or let me just say any other connection in which you are not connected, by, it will not get along with you. For you to succeed for any opportunity you apply for, you find it difficult for you to succeed. That is really a problem here in Sierra Leone presently. Although we are fighting hard against corruption, because if you look at the corruption index as compared to the previous years, as of now, you can see that there is little improvement. But some sectors, there are still problems for some sectors, not really all the sectors. So that is really a very big problem here. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello. Hello. Hello, Madam Chairperson.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you can continue.
Yeah. Hello, Madam
Go
Chairperson.
ahead. Yes, go ahead. Sorry, I was having a little technical issue there. Go ahead. You have the floor.
This is Alaji Sadiguba from Sierra Leone. In as much as my brother has just lamented on one of the problems that we are facing in Sierra Leone. And one of the greatest problems that Sierra Leone has been facing for the past 15 to 20 years now is tribalism. In my country, if you are not from the north or the south, presently the political party that is in power, their strongholds are from the south. And if you are not from the south, it is very difficult for you to get a job, even if you are qualified. And before now, when the past government was from the north, we should say, if you are not part of the north, it will be very difficult for you to get job. And this has been like a division in our country. You will see people, you will apply for job, they will look you based on your name. They will look at you like, okay, this name is most probably you are from the north and blah, 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 blah. Because of that, you will not get the job that you are looking for. If you are not part of the green and red, because these are the two political parties that dominate the political landscape of Sierra Leone, if you are not part of these two parties, it is very difficult for you to get a job. And this has been a problem. The division is being created. And we pray that it doesn't go further than this, because if it is like this, I'm afraid, Sierra Leone, we've gone through 11 years of senseless war. Those who fought the war, if we ask them, why are you fighting? Most of them don't know. Most of them will tell you anything, because their tribalism is coming to divide us even before the way we are. So it is put to rest. And one other small problem that I have been seeing around is about this civil service. These civil service organizations. Most of the civil service organizations, when they do their campaign, they care less about the boys. They don't even want to know what happens to the boys. They don't even know they don't even want to know what happens to the guys. They all focus on the girls, the guys. Sometimes the guys have more problems than the girls in most cases going through. So we need to really go back and see most of these civil servants. I'm not into civil services anyway, but what I've seen is that the boys are neglected. Most of them concentrate on the girl child and also women. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Wow, thank you for that. I'm sure some of us can relate to this as well. So thank you. And again, as I said before, definitely, guys, as you're listening, let's not just listen. Let's offer some feedback for the speaker. Let's let them know that we're with them, you know, that we feel their plight. And if you are having that situation in your own country, then it's always good to share that as well. So use the chat and let us all benefit from this session. Anyone, the next person, I'm having a bit of technical difficulty, so we can just come on one by one. Who would like to come on next?
Okay, hello.
Hi.
Hello. I'm on
Yeah.
GT. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
what I want to say is relating to the session we had yesterday. It's kind of relating to it. I don't know if, because I've noticed that some ladies, women have potentials. You see a young girl that did very well in school. She graduated. At the end of the day, she got married. After getting married, she just stopped as in pursuing her career just to focus on her family. I don't know why some ladies do it, but some persons will say, like I was talking to a young girl some time ago. She just finished her master's, and I asked her, "Are you not going to go for your PhD?" And you know what she told me? She said, "If I go for PhD, men might not marry me. Oh. They'll be looking at me as if I'm too learned." And I was astonished. I shook my head and told her, "No, don't think like that. There is so much we as women, we have potentials that we can actually give out." So what this is actually an issue that is kind of disturbing me. I kind of reason if you have to get married as a woman, but that should not stop you from pursuing your career. I'm from a family of just 3 girls. My mom gave birth to just 3 girls. And in Africa, people want a woman to at least have a male child. And my parents rather, was saying something that they're going to train their girls to the level that where men will be able to stand, their girls will be able to stand there too. And I use myself as example to young girls. I tell them, I've gotten a master's, I'm doing a PhD, and I'm married. I'm even a conservationist. At times, I'm not always around. I'm in the field trying to save the forest. So as women, I think we all have potentials. We should not just let our career die because, the African mentality is when a woman gets married, she stays back at home to cater for the family and all. Yes, you will do that, but we should also try to pursue career because we have so much in us that God has already gifted us to give out to the world. Thank you.
Thank you for that submission. Definitely, it's a relatable one. And so, guys, if you have feedback for Onajite, please give it to her on the chat. And who's next?
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, this is Kotu Jala, and I'm from Liberia. Yeah, I just want to give a few issues that we are experiencing in Liberia. One of the things we are experiencing in Liberia is we don't have the love for the law. That is, we don't go by the rule of law. We have so many beautiful laws put into place in Liberia, but we don't go by it. For example, somebody will tell you that you shouldn't pass here or you shouldn't do these things. And you see that the same person that has taken the law that you shouldn't do this, that is the same person who is going to be the first to break that law. For example, one of the things we are lack of again is that we have blind loyalty for people. That is to say, once you are benefiting or connected to a specific group of people or a specific person, whether that person is doing the right thing or not, but based upon your benefit, you don't have time for the masses. You always support them. You know, these are some issues that we are facing in Liberia. Number one, we don't have respect for rule of law. Number two, we have blind loyalties. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually, I'm Omar Sise from the Gambia. So I just wanted to share a bit about what I have found being shared by some of my colleagues here. So the last lady that spoke said, she has met some people, some women who have gone to school and are filled with potential, but they stopped at some point in their lives to focus on their families. So I've seen quite a bit of those in my country. And many of the people that would do this are those that have husbands who are well off, Their husbands are well off and they can pay them what their carriers are going to pay them. So they sit at home and they're given, they're given them, a monthly allowance and stuff like that. And they take care of the kids. So depending on what they choose to, how do I put it, man? Depending on what they choose to go into, sometimes because I may want to focus on the career, which is going to give me about some thousands, and sitting at home, take care of my kids. My husband will provide me with more than the thousands I'm going to gain. So I spend my energy somewhere else building my kids who are gonna be better tomorrow. Who, if they do not have the same, if they do not live in the same environment that I live, would prosper in a way because of the potentials that I've instilled in them. So people choose to do it differently. I've seen so many other people who have also not pursue any career and are sitting at home and they're not taken care of. There is another narrative like that. They're here, they're not taken care of, they're not giving anything, they're not earning. Their husbands are just bringing a little, so small on the table, and they are living on that with the mindset that if they do not sit and take care of their babies, or if they do not have that mindset, they will never have a husband. Just like the lady narrated, there are so many stories here that goes like that, but there are others that differ. And according to the problems that they mentioned here, some of them have tribal problems and rule of law problems and stuff like that. I think that is applicable in that is present in every country in Africa here, especially tribalism, which I think is not fading anytime soon. You come to my country, most of the time it doesn't show post-politics or post-election, but at the time of election, it shows so much. I mean, you see it. It's like it's written in everybody's face. I'm going to vote for this person because he is he's part of this tribe. I'm going to vote for this other person because he's part of this other tribe. Until I can remember during the elections, most of us realized that the president gained much votes from a place whereby the people of his tribe are more settled. So like. Somewhere like Badigon, stuff like that. He had many votes there. He dominated those places because most of them are from his tribe. So this is happening almost in every African country, and I'm not sure the fight for it should relent on fighting for it, because it has not faded yet, and we have so much to do as young leaders who want to not be just better, but make the places we live in better. So we have a long way to go when it comes to tribalism or things that Africa can today that are, that are given birth to because of not being diverse enough, just like the class we had yesterday. It's all, it all comes back to diversity. We still are not. We still are affected, so much affected by it.
For having some technical difficulties. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that submission. And unfortunately, yes, it seems like that's another issue that goes across boundaries and countries. And so definitely, as I said, let's use the chat, offer solutions if we have some words of comfort, if we have some feedback, if you have a personal story about what's being said. Chat. So can we have the next person? I see some hands up. I'm just not sure who's spoken and who hasn't.
I have one.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, leader.
Good afternoon.
So my issue is just about African leaders, and I don't know, is it a behavior or a culture thing? I just feel like it's a political heritage, dating back from the 1980s, 70s. So I always tell my friends that I think it was a mistake taking independence from the British or the colonial masters, because it's like passing on from president to president. It's like we all see the same thing, nobody's different from the other. And why I'm saying this is because of in terms of development or in terms of their policies. A president wins power and he goes abroad all the time for checkups, which I do not understand. Why don't you just get the facilities here, no matter the cost, just bring the facilities to Africa? There are a lot of doctors who dream of treating or one day treating the president. It's going to be like a dream come true to be able to treat ministers and also like the heads of state. But any little checkup. Last week I heard an interview from one of the Nigerians presidential people. I think it was Atiku Abubakar. They asked him, you always go for checkup abroad. So if you become the president, what happens? Because you keep claiming you want to invest in Nigeria and all that stuff, use local stuff. Then he was like, it's no problem if I become the president and Nigeria has the facilities. Why not? I'll treat myself. If not, I have to go out. It was kind of shameful because even in Ghana here, how many CT scans do we have? How many MRIs do we have? What about Nigeria? You see a lot of people dying at the hospital level, people dying, it's just crazy. But at the end of the day, the ministers, the presidents, whoever is in charge, when they get sick, they just take the flight, go, little headache, go to India or UK, do a checkup, and then come back to Africa. And so today, it's still like, it baffles me. I do not understand. I don't understand why they have to do that. So that is just the little I have to share, or the little questions I have, bothering me. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that submission. Yeah, these again are just challenges that I'm sure people can relate to in their own countries. So it's just interesting to see, what happens somewhere, actually happens elsewhere. So again, any feedback for our leader, can offer it in the chat. Any words to encourage him, or also just, maybe a solution. Maybe you have, maybe you have some insight into what he said. Definitely offer it in the chat, and we will take the next person. I'm just looking at the chat here. Okay, so whoever wants to take the floor, go ahead.
Hello. So I want to respond to the last presenter.
Go ahead.
Concerning Nigeria, we are in our election
Yes.
period. We are in our election period. We all know to be frank, our system is corrupt. Okay, now we decided we want a change. You know, the presidential election, it was glaring. It was glaring. Even if you watched some of the videos that were uploaded after the election, you saw that a particular party was actually winning. But at the end of the day, when they announced the results, we saw another thing entirely. You know, I think what they were expecting the youth to do then was to come out and riot, and the same thing that happened at Lekki Toll Gate when youths were peacefully protesting and they shot and killed some. And today the government is still saying nobody was killed at Lekki Toll Gate. That was what they were expecting to do. But that was what I felt they wanted. They felt we were going to do. The youth will come out and riot. But everybody was quiet because everybody is tired. Nobody wants to lose his or her life again for something that they've been striving. They've been striving for. Okay, our change in a Naira policy. Look at what happened. They decided to change the money. People have money in the banks. They changed the money. The money was not readily available for people to go and collect. You will go to the bank and you will queue for hours. So many pences. I went to the bank one day and I saw a woman outside. I asked her if the bank was operating. She said no. This woman does not have transport to go back to her house. So what's the point? What I just believe is we just have to pray because I don't know what we are going to do again. We've decided that we want to elect a good leader, but the system is not even helping us. You know, they stole his mandate. It's not, the system is not even helping us. Everything is just, I don't know. So what my own, should I say solution is just to be prayerful because I think Nigerians, they've exhausted everything they needed to do. Because I was shocked that after announcing the president of Nigeria, the winner for the presidency, nobody was even rejoicing. Everywhere was calm. Everybody's just tired. Coupled with the fact that there was no money available. Okay, the money they changed after changing the money to the new Naira notes. After the election, I think last week, they came back again to start telling us that old Naira notes, they wanted to continue to be in circulation till the 31st of in December. So what was the point of changing it initially and making money not available for the citizens? It makes no sense. So I think we should continue praying. That's my own opinion and advice because there's nothing we can actually do.
Yeah, I think you are right. You are right, yeah. But also, I feel like it all boils down to one thing. That money, or it's just about money, you know, about how much I can make if this person is in power, because they were threatened by the fact that, okay, if Peter Obi wins, this guy wouldn't allow us to do certain things, you know, we'll be held accountable. So now, currently, even in Ghana, I'm a Ghanaian, the Electoral Commission is influenced by the government. Schools, the GES, Ghana Education Service, is influenced by government. Police, influenced by government. Army, influenced by government. Everything is influenced by the government. You know, so whoever wins the election is going to put everywhere, you know, his people or his loyalists, you know, because he doesn't want to lose the next election. So I feel like in Nigeria too, that was the same thing that happened, because if they know if this person wins, we are going to be in power and we are going to influence every single thing. You know, right now there's no job in Ghana. The what do they call it? The Minister for Labor, he came out to say from 2023 going, there wouldn't be jobs. But it's not true. You know, if somebody graduates today, you know, and has connection with them, that person is going to get a job immediately. There are jobs, just that the jobs are there for powerful people, influential people. You know, so it just boils down to, you know, all this money stuff and favor. It's just money. You know, if this person wins, I make more money. If this person doesn't win, you know, I make less money. So it just boils down to money and corruption. So, but my suggestion is, I think they should privatize all these institutions. In South Africa, they used to have something called the Red Scorpion, or is it Red something like that? Those people did not care who was in power. They will scrutinize you, they will check you, they will do every single thing in your authority just to make sure that everything is right. So I feel like if Peter Obi had won, or if anybody comes to power, they should privatize all these institutions to hold everybody accountable. That way people will be scared to loot funds, to corrupt a lot of things, in the system. We give young people a chance. Because at the end of the day, young people, they win election, you are like, okay, this person is young, this person is a youth, but he wins election and it's the same old process. He might even be worse than the old people in power. An example is Desmond Elliott. He's a youth, he's young. They put him in power, he goes to the parliament and he's attacking the youth again. So it's just the same thing, the influence, the power, the money, and all those kind of things. Thank you.
Yeah, I concur with you. I agree with you, sir. I agree with you. But the thing is, we all know, in Nigeria, we know those that are corrupt. We know those that are not corrupt. As per when they come for campaign and the likes, it is the same thing we keep on hearing. To be frank with you, this is the first time in my life I've ever voted because I saw something that was different. This is the first time in my life I've ever voted. I'm 34 years old. This is the first time I've ever voted. I saw something that was different. Growing up then, it was the same system. You understand? But after that Lekki toll gate and videos we saw people losing their children that were protesting peacefully and soldiers were shooting at them. Man, I'm not in Lagos, I'm in Calabar. But watching that video was heartbreaking. And the governor, the federal government have got guts to say no shooting, nobody was killed at Lekki toll gate. There was this girl, DJ Swish. This girl, she had to run out of the country because they were actually looking for her. She was among those that was trying to help people that were being shot during the peaceful protest. So I guess it's the same thing they were expecting to do this time around. And after they announced the winner, everybody was just quiet because nobody wants to lose their life anymore. It's a very bad situation. And to be frank, like if you now, okay, in Nigeria, we're talking about, the system of corruption is about godfatherism. That's what I've read into, as in I've kind of researched, and I saw that our political system is godfatherism. This man is is a top notch in Nigeria. He places people in position that when an election comes like this, they will be indebted to him to make him win. If you get what I'm trying to say. That's why I say at the end of the day, we just have to resort to prayer. We should continue praying because there's nothing we can do. The youths have tried. They've decided to come out for positions. They are coming out for positions. Let's see how this governorship election tomorrow is going to turn out. So at the end of the day, we still just have to continue praying. God is the only saving grace for Africa.
Yeah, blessing. Yeah, I think I quite agree with you on some certain things and disagree with you on some others. Let me start from the last point you mentioned. The last thing which you said, we have to resort to prayers, pray, and then the situation will turn around. Fantastic. Nobody can dispute the fact that an effective prayer can bring about the desired change that we need in this country and in this continent as a whole. But then we have to know that God is not going to come down to come and do certain things for us. We need to continue pushing. Your conclusion actually, demonstrated like one who is giving up on the state of things now. And that is the kind of mistakes I particularly seen we have been making. The election now is coming in the next 4 years again. Now, the young people will now go back again and sit down, fold their hands and expect, in the next, when the election is just 1 year to come again, and then we begin to champion these causes. Everything we see begins with preparation. Whatever that has been done now, if we truly want to change it, we can begin from today and now, so that we can, bring that change that we need. And then I also want to talk about leadership. Everything we've been mentioning, corruption, other institutions, as Africans, it all boils down to leadership. By the time we have good leadership on ground, the corruption will know where to be found. All these institutions will be there for us to see and you even touch and feel. But because we have leaders who are not really doing the biddings of the followership, not doing the biddings of the masses, they're there for their self-centered, reasons and purposes. That is why we are going backward instead of forward. So we have to begin to recruit leaders that will know we can hold them accountable, leaders that will know will be transparent, leaders that will know have, high integrity, leaders that we know can hold even the masses with their dignity. By the time we recruit these leaders, I am telling you, some of these problems naturally will be nowhere to be found. We hold the key. That is why they say the power of citizens overwhelm the power of any politician, any other leader, because we put them there, we have the power to remove them there. So we need to be resolute. We need to continue being determined. It is not time for us to give up on Africa or our countries as a whole. Let us continue pushing. We have read from other countries how they survive theirs. So by the time we sustain the tempo as we have demonstrated, change, a positive one, will surely come.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you.
Can I
You
say
said we
something?
should keep on. Please let me just round up, please. You said we should keep on pushing.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, we'll keep on pushing. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello. You said we should keep on pushing. David, you said we should keep on pushing. We should elect competent leaders. We should elect competent leaders. We already know someone that is competent, and the system is preventing the person from coming into power. Why I said we should resort, for those of us that don't have anybody, that don't have any help, our help is in God. No, we should have to resort to prayer. But what I want to conclude here is the international community, they gave us independence, right? But it's like African nations, let me use Nigeria. I don't know for that country. Let me use Nigeria. My country is not really practicing democracy. So the solution to this whole issue is during elections, the international community that comes to watch should be in charge. If they were in charge of the beavers, that were used during the election, I'm sure they would not, INEC would not have been able to, or whoever manipulated the beavers to give wherever to the present winner.
That's to say we're still going back to olden days.
Yes, we have to international, because okay, what do you expect us to do? If the youths come out to protest peacefully, they will be shot at.
We are struggling for liberation. If we are
do you
going
know
to
during this
allow
election,
people,
do you know, I saw some NYSC coppers that were beating up because they refused to upload the wrong results. These are youths that were trying to do the right thing.
if you are saying we should allow the Western world that you rule and dictate to us how to operate some of these things, then where is the place of Africa struggling?
What I'm trying to say is they should come and be part of it. Not
there is what we call international treaty. They have their own boundaries, just like we have in other countries too. That is why they only play the role of observers. They can observe and make comments.
We need to start learning things in our own language so that we can understand. During COVID, here in Ghana, I saw a certain boy, a small boy, maybe around the ages of 10 or 12. He was able to develop a device to help washing the hands. Then you just paddle with your legs and then the water flows and then you get your soap and you wash without even touching the device with your hands. This guy, I don't think may have learned this in school because of his age. I would have thought he was in a technical school or something. No, but because of his age, I think he was in a primary. How did he get this knowledge to be able to put things together? I've seen children in Nigeria and other parts of Africa are able to put up a model house using miniature items or objects. So I am asking myself, some of them may not even have been to the school before, but then they have this kind of knowledge. Even when we were young, we're able to make cars out of milk tins, sardine tins, and whatnot. I think we already have something. We just need a touch of what is modern, not all of it, but just a touch of it. Brand ours to work, and then we can move forward. In Ghana here, we have a man called Kantanka who has produced cars. A lot of Ghanaians don't even patronize him. We'll prefer to buy cars from outside. Why? If we feel that his workmanship is substandard, why don't we call out, tell this man that we want to patronize you, but we want to see how you do your things, make sure everything is in order so that we can have confidence in using your vehicles. I mean, sorry that my thoughts seems to be distorted, but I'm trying to connect everything to one thing. We need to reform the way we do our education in this part of the world. And probably we'll get to a better place than we are now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello,
can I please speak? I've been on for long.
Please, mute. Very good. Thank you. Can we hear from Oluwasi Osho? You can mute and talk. Umar Spisa, please mute your mic. Thank you. Osho, are you online? Yes, the person is not online. Michael Samuel, can you please mute and give us your submission?
Thank you. First of all, I would like to speak on the language issue my other sister spoke about. In Africa, in most African countries, we don't have a major dialect that we speak. In Ghana, that she's mentioning, I'm also a Ghanaian, we have almost 49 languages, and we don't have any majority group speaking a particular language. It's quite diversified. She spoke about China. China has about 70% of this country speaking Mandarin. And so it is quite easy for certain countries, or China, for instance, to have a national language. In our part of the world, it's going to be very difficult. When you look at the eastern part of Africa, there's one major language that runs through, that's Kiswahili. It's because it's dominant. But if you come to countries where it is not, it is going to be difficult to have those language or a particular language being dominant for educational purposes. So the English is still going to be widely used, which is not a problem. The problem there is the content of the education, what we are learning. We are learning more of theoretical things as compared to practical things. We are doing more theories. And then when it comes to practical things, we have to import a lot of the produce. We have to make sure that we rather turn away from the theories and make more practical things. Also, when it comes to Africa, especially with elections, we need to do away with electing older people or the older generation. Herbert Hoover once said that old men wage war, and it is the youth that must fight to die. And that is what we see always, especially in West Africa. The older generation, the old men, they always seek to have power when their time is past. And it is the youth that is going to be affected the most, because we have to follow them, fight for people to come into power. And they bring ideas mostly that are outmoded. They are not in sync with current technological ways of doing things to make sure Africa moves forward. Until we put a stop, or there are policies that cut out an age limit. Say probably if you're up to 65, you can't become a president or a leader. That'll be fine. Until then, Africa is going to be as it is now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Jeremiah, can you come again? Please unmute and give us your submission. Jeremiah.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh,
carry
okay. Yeah, again, thanks for the opportunity. So sorry, the first time, I think was a technical fault for my side. I just want to talk a bit about on something. You know, in Africa, there are a lot of things that we can actually talk about, but we can't say all because we don't have the luxury of time. So I just want to talk about education in Africa. I think in Africa, we actually need to get our children in school to really understand the right history. I do believe that Africa is actually diverting from what really should be taught. And this is actually causing a lot of problems. This is even causing the replacement of our culture, our tradition. This is causing a replacement. I'm not saying that we cannot be able to revamp our tradition or our culture. I think we can do that because this is a civilized society now. We can be able to look in our culture, our traditional heritage, our practices, those ones that are not good, we can be able to at least make amendment. But replacing them all together, I'm saying this because it's actually vivid in my country, Liberia. You see almost everyone wants to behave Western. Some of those very good practices are actually held Liberians together that actually even has a kind of effect on school-going children. You no longer see them. They are all vanishing, all right? And even people in the urban area, they no longer want to even spend vacation in their villages, no longer want to do that. And all this because of a kind of culture, kind of, let's say, Western way of behaving. Everyone is switching up. So I think we actually need to go back to the classroom. We actually need to understand and know what we teach, and we should be able to have control over what we teach in Africa, not things that have been imposed on us by other civilization, or we want to please other civilization. No, I think we actually need to identify our history and actually teach our history. That's what's given to us by people who always want to control us.
Thank you very much, Jeremiah. Isabella, can you please unmute? Sexual, please mute your mic. Thank you. Isabella, are you online? Can you please unmute and give us your thoughts?
Okay, hello everybody. This is Isabella from Ghana. Please, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So, so I'm coming from the view of a teacher in the classroom. So, with everything said and done, as a teacher who is on the ground, I see this problem start right from infancy, or right from when we are young. When we come to the class, our way of teaching, as my sister said, or my brother said, everything we teach in the class is a bit rigid, because I'm a teacher. It's a bit rigid. Now, you don't have anything to do about it because a curriculum has been designed for you and you are to follow it. Even if and all these things boil down to our leaders. All these things boil down to our leaders. And so what I believe in is that as young leaders who are coming up, and with this training, I see it as it's more about having ethical leaders. Because if we rise with a generation of leaders who preach or live what they preach, I think we would have change. Now the education sector is crying. I can beat my chest and tell you that things are, in Ghana especially, things are bad. But you can't say it even as an educator or as a teacher. You have no right to say that something is not going right in the classroom. The children are lacking resources. You can't grant interviews because your leaders are saying if you grant an interview or if you speak up, you're going to be victimized. And as we said, most of our young men and women, even who are set to get into education, into the leadership positions, get corrupted along the way. So we even say that, yeah, the old men are doing the wrong thing. But we even have the young ones who are also getting into politics, who are actually mentored by the older corrupt men. So how do we handle it? It has to start from the scratch, from the classroom. Our curriculums will have to be changed, and things will have to be done by the right people. I'm speaking from the point of education because that's where I am, and so that's why I can speak more. We have people being put in places they are not supposed to be. I think if those in Ghana can attest to, the teacher unions went on a sort of strike because we were imposed on with a political director general. Now, when you go through college, you know that your director general is supposed to be a rank that you go through and then you rise to the rank of a director general. Then we have a young man who has worked, not going through the classroom. They are saying that he has taught in a private school before, and per our professional ethics, if you have not gone through the training college or you have not done an education course, you can't go through the ranks like that. But because the person is young, he has the political influence, he's a director general, whether we like it or not. And so such a person, if he does not get guidance from the right people who are into the classroom things to know the right things, would always have problems. As I'm speaking with you now, we've had academic calendars being changed more than 4 times just this month of March, you know. So it boils down to choices of leaders. It boils down to our classrooms being more of practical, more of practical. Our identity, we should know, because we have history. We all know what our history has been as Ghana. Then someone chooses to say that, oh, my father was this, so the story has to be changed to suit his father's storyline and all that. So I think we have to start from the classroom, but to start from the classroom, those who formulate the policies would have to be checked. We need more ethical leaders than just people who have the influence, who have the money and all that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Isabella.
If I would just say something, Isabella, I think we don't.
Please mute your mic. Please mute your mic, Elijah. Kindly mute your mic. Thank you very much. Can we hear from Ujukan? Ujukan, if I've mentioned your name, not the way it should be.
I think we should allow others to talk. It's just only more specific people that are talking things.
Please, we are calling people that have not spoken when we started the session. Alaji has spoken a couple of times. So other colleagues also need to share their views. So if you can, kindly bear with me. If you can.
Yeah, the name is Njuka. Thank you for struggling to pronounce. Good afternoon to all of us. I want to begin by addressing that is particular to Ghana only. It's a problem that is witnessed across Africa. Here in Cameroon, it's the same issue. You have the wrong people in the right places. And the spillover effect is that there is a display of incompetence throughout the system. So I think what we can do as young leaders is to, first of all, build that sense of ethics into us and ensure that it is a standard by which we make decisions. If we don't start practicing now, when we get to those positions, we will also fall short as they are found to be ethical. You don't just think you will get there and do it. You start building the foundation. And I think that is what Yali is helping us to do. So what we can do as young leaders, as we observe these problems, as we criticize, as we condemn and cry, is to find ways of making sure that we don't make the same mistakes while complaining. I think it will be totally unfair if we complain today tomorrow. And so it starts by building Africa, and go to classrooms where read about his and when you say who like his feet, are these people want it to help in power. So the way to change is to create systems that encourage, it's a bottom-top structure to allow people to learn the facts, people to speak the truth and be safe. The problem in Cameroon, the problem in Africa has never been, the problem is safety, speaking the truth. The problem is wanting to do the right thing. The problem is the safety that will come after the system that guarantee that.
Please, moderator, he's breaking. I can't hear him clearly. I can't hear him clearly.
Okay, please mute your mic.
The voice is cracking.
Injukan,
And we have
can you hear me? Injukan.
In Africa.
Injukan. Can you hear me? Okay, it's out. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oluwaso, please can you mute and then give us your submission? Oluwaso, are you online?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening,
Okay.
everyone.
Evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So far, everything we have been saying is awesome. Like, we are really analyzing the whole issue about Africa. But with what I have seen so far, especially here in Nigeria, is that corruption starts from even the little one, the little child. It starts from the home, not just our leaders. We keep blaming our leaders every day. We keep blaming them. But the fact that we as youth, for example, we are easily, how will I say, we are easily swayed away. They can easily manipulate us into thuggery or something like that. Like, for example, now, this whole election thing that we are having in Nigeria, who are the ones causing this violence? Who are the ones threatening people online? Is the youth, not these older people. We are easily taken away. We forget easily things that we should take special interest in. And I'm very thankful that NSAS opened our eyes, the protest opened our eyes, especially the youth. And to be honest, this present government, they never expected that the youth come out massively the way we did this year. They never expected, they never saw it coming. And this is what we want. If we, the youth, can always stand up and do the right things and be involved in the right things, then Africa will be better. My sister, Mrs. Okagbare, was saying the other time that we should call on international community. International community will do nothing for us. I can remember people tagging them severally on this NSAS issue because I'm very active on Twitter. None of them came through. And who put us in this place in the first place? These same international communities, just because they are getting things from Africa. So they want Africa to keep being the dark side of the world. That is why education is crippled. People hardly go to school. Our government, they don't prioritize education. Imagine they want to, this election thing, they said they spent billions on what? Buying plastic. We are still putting papers, what's it called? All this stuff into plastics. I don't know who say that it will never be better. Killed Africa, but then we cannot keep passing blame. We need to go back to the grassroots and start from the younger generation because every African mind is corrupt. Imagine when rain falls, people will start increasing transportation fare. Is it the leaders that told them? So these are the things that we need to address. I personally need to check myself. You also need to check yourself. And I think when each and every one of us have a different mindset, a good mindset, then everything will get better. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your submission.
Hello, Tijani.
Yes, Mr.
Look,
Umar.
kindly allow me to share. Like, I just want to say this. Now, the issue is, when we talk about change, and when we talk about change, who do we direct it to? We direct it to ourselves. But I can see a route that we, the young people, are actually taking, which is not the route we should. When we sit to discuss the issues in Africa, I'm going to tell you this for free. Most of the countries in Africa, or all the countries in Africa, have the same exact problems. Now, we know this. We know what the problems are because we are all living in our diverse countries, in our different countries. So when we sit together, we are bounded by time, right? We are bounded by time. What do we do with it? Do we use that time discussion on the issues until we elapse it, or do we spend it discussing on the solutions for them? Now, when I listen to Isabella and Jukan, those two people, when they spoke, that is all I could get from them, solutions to our problems. But the rest, like me, when we spoke, all we were talking about is the problems that we have, which if we should only focus on that, we're going to elapse the whole time we have talking about issues and not ever bringing up solutions, which is going to affect our delivery. Now, okay, let's talk about solutions. Because imagine, we've been talking about problems since 2 to 3:47 now. We have like some minutes to go. And it's only one thing we've been talking about in a roundabout form. Problems, education, problem in infrastructure, problem, education. But what are the solutions to this? Because we have the same problems. Let's tailor that out and we see how best work towards it. And we are young people who don't only talk, who should not only be talking actually. We should be leading the change. But how do we do that? By only focusing on the problems. And that is our main problem ourselves.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Marsisi. Mr. Marsisi has given us a submission. Leaders, do we agree that as we speak about the problems, we should also kindly add what we think the solution to this problem facing Africa will be? Do you agree?
But I think we are also speaking on the solutions.
Okay, thank you. So,
hello. Tijani, sorry. Yes, just responding to the person who just spoke. Yes, we are actually talking about the problems, but most of our focus is shifted on that.
About
we are talking about the solutions, yes, but our focus is mostly given to the problems, and that is not helping. Like, we are mostly giving our focus to the problems. But I think what should be surfacing more.
Some of us have been bringing up solutions.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, we analyze the problem and we find a solution to it. We are analyzing the problem and find a solution to it. And both the problem and the solutions are going simultaneously. It's only you are with us. We are not only discussing problem.
Yeah, like I gave the solution of international body overseeing our elections.
Okay, thank you all very much.
I also give a solution of having independent institutions and policies being put in place. Those are solutions. Isabella said we should start from the schools. These are also
wants to speak.
Someone talk about righteousness. These are also.
These are also.
Zainab, please mute your mic. Please. Zainab, Sheku, please mute your mic. Joy, also mute your mic. Sheku, you have not. Thank you very much. Leaders, if anybody wants to have a submission and want to speak, kindly raise your hand. You'll be called and then you'll be given the opportunity to speak. Can we please hear from Joy? Like, you have not spoken. I've not heard from you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. So I've been listening through a lot of problems in education and all that. So I agree with the last person that talked about solutions. And when we talk about solutions, we are talking about practical solutions, solutions that we can start with, basically. How can we make, let's say the problem is access to education. How can we make access to education better from our own end? So I think that's where the solution comes, because even a global view or a world view or a national view solution wouldn't solve a problem. I think starting with a solution that we can implement, not solutions that we are giving solutions that we want other people to implement. The people that we want them to implement these solutions are not on this call, so they can't help you implement the solutions. I think having the solutions we ourselves as leaders on this call can implement, and even taking it up to WhatsApp and even forming groups where we can start discussing, okay, these solutions, how can we build on these solutions? How can we help people in this country or this or that? But giving out solutions that people or other people, we are waiting for other people to implement, wouldn't work. That's my own view. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joyce. Aisha Abdul Samad, are you online?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you. Please, your
Okay.
submission.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm sorry you called me earlier, but it was quite noisy where I was. So so far so good. I think the discussion has been really insightful for me, but then I would just love to contribute and also like identify a problem that I think I have noticed as well. So addressing the issue of health, for me, I'm in my final year of medical school, and I think one bad thing about studying medicine in Nigeria is, trust me, you get to spend over 8 to 9 years, even without having any issues in Nigeria. So I've been in the system for quite a number of years, and I've been into a lot of advocacies from maternal health to climate, environmental health and mental health. I think when it comes to like a lot of people traveling out of Africa and, you know, us ignoring traditional medicine, I think a lot of us actually aren't pointing out what exactly the issue is. Even WHO now recognizes traditional medicine, but then the issue with traditional medicine that I have noticed, because I've attended a lot of VCAT, that's like an attitude verification training, where they invite like TBAs, traditional birth attendants. And you know, when they see you as like an MBBS, soon to be older, there's like this, they feel threatened to an extent. I don't know. Some of them feel like they are better in a way than you. And generally in health, there's like an hierarchy on how things are supposed to be done. You start from the TBAs, midwives, then if things are not working well, you move to PHCs, like that until you get to the tertiary level. A lot of these people that are into like TBAs and, you know, the traditional birth attendants and midwives, I feel like they don't get enough sensitization on when it's the right time for them to pass on cases. I don't know if you understand. So that's in a way, I know that, okay, this person might want to gamble with my life in the sense that the person just wants to show that, okay, I can do this. Despite the fact that it is glaring to the person that, okay, this is not something I can handle. They still want to like show you that they can do. And that way, people tend to like lose their lives. So for me, I feel like when it comes to like health and, you know, patronizing those that are into like traditional medicine, it's actually very important that we sensitize these people. And trust me, sensitization works a lot. Judging from a lot of BCAT training that I have attended, you see the way they eventually, when you interact with them and they see that you are not really in for like a competition with them, they tend to like accept, and they know that, okay, as their capacity is to this level, when is this time, it's time for them to move forward. And another thing in terms of, you know, generally, health generally, like people traveling out, I believe that Nigeria has like, well, not Nigeria, generally Africa has like the human resources, or we used to have the human resources. I'm sure for those of us that are into like checking health trend, we saw the USA March program that took place like a few days ago, and a lot of Africans actually got matched into like residency programs. But then another issue is the fact that we don't even appreciate ourselves. It's aside from the government now, we like ourselves, we don't really trust like another Black man with our health, especially when it comes to like certain conditions. When you are talking about kidney conditions, you're talking about cancers, people prefer to run away, even when you're telling them clearly that there's a specialist somewhere in their country, somewhere on their street, that can actually handle it. And another thing is the fact that we don't have like enough investors. Many of us would rather invest our money into like tech. Everyone has abandoned healthcare totally. So I feel like with more investors into like the healthcare sector would have more, improved healthcare facility that these hands are willing to like, learn with and, just carry out procedures and even get better than those countries that are going out there. Most times, even when you go to the UK, you see a lot of Black men there. So I think that for healthcare sensitization, more investment by we, the Black, into our own system, and just advocating for health generally will go a long way in actually shaping the healthcare sector in Nigeria. That's the first. The second one would be in terms of like politics and all in Africa. Well, I don't want to say the entire Africa because I'm used to Nigerian system. I say it a lot of times that for me in this Nigeria, most people are actually interested in changing their lives as opposed to the general change that we are all screaming for. Most people, when they are, settled and they are comfortable, you won't hear from them again. It's just them and them alone. And it's not really helping the situation. I feel like a lot of us need to like correct our mindset. And average Nigerian will tell you, oh, when I get into the system also, I would embezzle for myself, and yes, I would try to like give back also to the society. Like having that mindset that you're going there to embezzle a percentage for yourself is even a problem already on its own. And I feel we are all shouting, okay, youth. Even most of these are youth. I can remember when one of the governors, those that are Nigerians on this call would know him very well, the governor of Kogi State. If I can remember correctly, it was 39-40 when he went for the position of governor, and everybody was actually very excited. I mean, we are having someone in his late 30, running for a governorship position. I'm sure most people now are actually cursing him after he has spent his 8 years because I will not want to like expatiate more on what he has done so far. So we as a youth also need to like work on ourselves, work on our mindset. And for education now, honestly, I feel like educational curriculum in Africa is messed up, to be fair. But then that's story for another day because I feel like I'm wasting time already. Let's talk about like youth engagement, youth involvement. A lot of United Nations agencies, even the WHO during their last executive board meeting, they actually spoke about having like, youth envoy, youth representatives. And most of countries outside Africa actually are already trying to like implement this, but it's not the same for Africa. As youth in Africa, very few of us actually know about like policies and all, and policies actually go a long way in actually talking to these people. It's even more effective in my own I think I can see comments about the time. I think I would just stop here since few people are already complaining already. I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aisha. Thank you very much, Aisha. Wrapping up, our time is fast spent. Let's hear from Dauda Kumbi. Then, Dauda, if you are online, please kindly.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, and I'm Dauda Kumba from Sierra Leone, and I have been an advocate for a very long time. And also, I have worked in government agencies as well. So I just want to give a few solutions towards how we can combat corruption or mitigate corruption, which of course cannot combat it completely. And I've been working with a lot of ministers, and prior to this time, I was a PA to the not minister, one of the ministries as well. So, and I have seen how people infiltrate in our nations and how people collect from our national cake. If we really want to mitigate corruption, we start at the top. instead of the bottom. We need to use the top bottom approach. How I mean by this, we really need to hold these people accountable. How our wealth or our national has been used, will be implemented as well. Because I've seen we are in money is being given to people to give it to homes that need it. Like for instance, we are having the flooding, the mosque, we see people who alone squander the money instead of public use, instead of giving the people that need it. And there are a lot of when you think of politics, they are the top ranking politicians in Sierra Leone. So we are in where all this money is going. Or see an invitation from anti-corruption inviting people are celebrating corrupt politicians. You can see people embezzle with a lot of money, state funds. We cannot see we are in anti-corruption inviting them to go answer questions. But whatever, in my own village, I was fortunate to see a few teachers who are being indicted for exam and practice, and they were put out on the street at PZ or country street. It's like it's fire wherein a lot of people see or meet there. So they publicly disgrace these teachers, these poor teachers. So where are you leaving these politicians that have been embezzling our state resources? So it's really pathetic that the question is, how are we ready to fight corruption? We are in this commissioner that have been appointed by politicians. So you see, that's the problem. Where we go to the state, the legal aspect of the judiciary, the chief justice and the attorney general, all are being appointed by the president. We are in the parliament only just goes there to endorse, because it's not about endorsement, it's about rubber stamp parliament. And anything absolutely the president wishes to do, it will seal and dusted. That's it. So it's really, really pathetic. See my country, or see the parliament, we are in the well of parliament, serve as a way of implement or bringing laws that will suit or that will push.
Oh, sorry. I think we lost a connection there with our leader. Okay, everyone. It is GMT is 4:02. Hi. But
Hello.
You know what, you guys, guys, let's continue this conversation on the WhatsApp platform. That's what it's there for. It's for you guys to communicate. Okay, so just for time's sake and just to save some data of those that have, apportioned just a 2-hour limit for this session, let's end it here, but let's continue on the WhatsApp platform, okay? But thank you guys. Thank you to Johnny.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.